We'll call our committee meetings to order for the Hamblen County Legislative Body this May the 8th, 2023. We'll remind each commissioner, please, to turn on your mics. Always address the chair, please, and we'll do the best we can to get through this. So to get started, let's call on Chairman Horner of the Justice Center Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll call the Justice Center Public Safety Committee to order. If there's anyone who wishes to address this committee, may do so at this time. Seeing none, there is no old business. Item 4A, the Justice Center project update. Tony Pettit, Burwell Construction.
Good afternoon.
We appreciate that. We need to hear that more
Would
often.
you check your mic, please, see if that's on? Let's turn that thing on. There we go.
Test.
Yes, sir.
I'll go give you the contract. It's getting up to where you can see it now. Let's go over some pictures. So they're pouring concrete with a concrete pump on the north side of the job, and this picture behind us, and the third level. Was you cycling through them? I'm sorry. You kind of see below that, the lower level where the concrete pump's sitting. That's your intake area and your cafeteria and your laundry area and other things. Then you've seen the sails set on each floor as they go up. And got another picture there, Trish. Thank you. Got another shot of it where you can kind of see the sails. Then back over toward the south side of the site, you kind of see the retaining wall going up. You will start to see some foundation work. One more slide, then I'll talk about where we are. Oh, is that all we had?
3.
I missed it then. Anyway, the
No, 4.
beyond.
Sorry, 4.
There you go. So that slide shows where the courthouse, the judicial system will be. And as soon as we get the precast set on the far side, we're able to move that crane off that pad, and we'll start that one-story portion of the project just after that. Precast is due to start in June, and they're moving them pretty well. Contract status as of end of the April billing cycle is they've billed for 46.32% complete. That is $43,141,464 completed and stored to date. Your stored to date materials currently is $10,902,500. That's 11.71% of the project. Work in place would be the difference there of $32,239,414. A completion percentage of 34.62%. And so they're moving right along. Everybody's aware that we've ordered all the materials. I've said this numerous times just to help fight inflation and whatnot. So that's the status to date. Currently, we're, as you can see, up busy now. They're erecting steel. They're placing elevated concrete slabs. They're setting the steel sails as they go up, the prefabricated steel sails. Down below into the building, they're roughing in the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems. There's some fireproofing going on as they come up in the lower levels, and masonry has started and is being installed in the big CMU in the lower levels. So that's kind of the update. Any questions?
I have one, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You're fine, honey. Quite a while back, you told us that there would be many change orders coming. Any idea how many more we need to expect, sir?
No, but I can tell you it's slowing, it's slowing down. So I run a tracking sheet just for my own kind of as a tool for myself. It's a tracking sheet that's got project issues on them. Some of them result in change orders, some of them result in credits, and some of them just work ourselves out and fade away. So that list is getting less populated. So they are, like we said, slowing down somewhat. So there's really no way of telling what we will do. I know that we've got a couple of options that always good for the owner to have options of adding work or not adding work. There's going to be a couple there where we're talking about waterproofing the lower yards. We're still kicking that around. I think we just about determined that we could do that at any time later in the project or even after the project's complete if we have an issue with those recreational yards on the lower level, whether you wanted to waterproof or not. Right now that's sealed concrete, so it's somewhat waterproof and it all slopes to a drain. So it's issues like that where we have a choice of whether we want to spend the money or not. So there's several of those. There's another one that we need to currently look at about that now that they're excavating on the north side of the site where the cooling tower and the emergency generator are going to sit, and it's a different elevation. And we're talking with the jail maintenance staff and seeing if we can service that. We're exploring whether we let the contractor install a set of concrete steps down to that from the truck turnaround area, or we do that later, or with another contractor. So we're looking at all that all the time. So I still can't answer the question about how many more.
Okay, next question. Well, last meeting we had, I asked you if you had heard whether or not the contract attorney that we hired to go back over some of this stuff had looked at anything. At this point, can you give us an update on that? If they have looked at anything, what have they found? What was the determinations?
We have got an appointment this week to sit down with that contracting attorney. So we're gonna review these things that we've talked about, some things that are coming up. So we're going to sit down and review those with that attorney.
Do you know about what you're going to review? Which items out of the change orders that you're going to review?
We have already discussed the one with the rated fire rating. There is a one that's coming up that we're still analyzing and going back and forth with the contractor and architect. We're going to review that with her, the attorney, at this point in time, see legally what we have as far as our stance about it's a delay claim because of all the deep foundations. We'll probably have to discuss that here, but we want to get her ideas about how we stand legally with the contractor and the architect on that.
Has the E&O insurance been discussed as far as coming back to her for that? I'm a business person, I'm sorry.
Errors and omission insurance, that's a good term. E&O insurance has been discussed between me and the project manager for the architect a few times. And believe me, she's working her best trying to get issues resolved the most economical way they can.
Can we expect a report from her at some point to this commission so that we know what's going on?
I think Brian, the project manager you've met here before with Mosley, comes in and reports from time to time. So, yeah, we should be able to expect that.
No offense, sir, but he's not a contract attorney.
Right. Well, oh, you're talking about when you said her, the attorney. Well, I guess that's at the will of the committee.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Those are tough questions. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Horner. We will now move right into our Finance Committee. And Hahn, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Finance Committee to order. Do we have anyone wishing to address the committee? Do so at this time. See none, so let's move along. And number 3A, recurring business, we have the expenditures report. And in 3B, we have the monthly checks for April of 2023. Look those over. If you have comments or questions, then we can address those at this time.
Chairman Hahn.
Yes.
I had made several inquiries. I was unable to get my information before this meeting tonight, so I would like to hold that over to the next meeting when I can review what was sent to me. Miss Amanda told me she sent it right before she came to the meeting, and I had to leave a lot earlier than that to get here on time, sir. So I would like to hold, as far as the monthly checks, to be able to ask a question at the next meeting, please, sir.
And what is your question?
I have several in regard to the invoices. Do you want me to detail them out for you, sir?
I would like so, yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your patience. Hold on. The first one would be for the invoice dated 4/6/23 from the County Commission for travel, $234.64 on page 1. The second one would be for the county attorney dated 4/6/23, Anderson, and I'm going to mispronounce this, BUSBYP LLC, $150. That's the first one.
Could you, what is your concern on those as you go through that? What you?
I'd like to have further explanation to exactly what they were.
Okay.
And then, hold on, I'll go ahead and get the rest of them while I've got your attention, sir. We've got one for 4/13/23 juvenile court, Clive Thompson for $405. On page, I'm sorry, I should have given you a page number, sir. Page 9, we have one, and I think it's for the jail, sir. It's dated 4/27/2023. It's for $12,091.39. If we've had another problem at the jail, I'd like further explanation what it is there. So hold tight, page 10. We've got several underneath the jail for Bob Barker and Company. You've got one dated 4/13/23 for $7,649.09. You've got one dated 4/27 for $807.84. You've got one dated 4/21 for $2,466.45. You've got one dated 4/13 for $304. You've got one for 4/13 for $740.72. And then you've got one for 4/21 for $442.90. Those questions there. And if you'll go to page 11, I have a question in regard to the one for the civil defense, and I'm thinking it's EMA. It's 4/27/2023. It's Roger Yount's Body Shop for $1,603.40. Hold on. And one more. I have a question in regard to, okay, I've lost my marker, but those.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Michelle, you do have that taken care of, and you're gonna, yes. No, but would you please forward that to the rest of us, please?
Chairman Hahn, if I may, Commissioner Green's request we'll handle through consent calendar. She'll be able to pull that out if she wants,
Okay.
as always. She has that opportunity to pull that out, and we can address it in item 5 of our regular calendar.
You got that?
Yes, sir, Chairman. May I say one more thing? The last time I did that, I got criticized real highly for it, so thank you for opening that door for me.
You have that opportunity every time. Sure do.
All right, let's move on. No old business, so we'll move into new business. Item 5A, TCRS employer contribution at the ADC rate. Mr. Mayor?
In your packet are 2 pages dealing with the Tennessee consolidated retirement system contribution rate for the county. The county contributes an amount that's determined by the actuary for TCRS, and then the employee also makes a contribution. And we currently, as a county, we currently contribute 7% of the gross pay of general employees and 10.5% of the post-certified law enforcement officers to TCRS. Those are our current contributions, although, and they exceed the minimum amount that we are required. And we do that to make sure that our retirement funding it's fully funded. So currently, we contribute 7% and 10.5%, and our recommendation is that we continue to do that next fiscal year.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved to approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Discussion in case.
Oh, yes, discussion.
Mr. Mayor. Oh, I apologize. Chairman Hull.
Yes.
My question is, which employees get the 7% and which ones equal out the 10.5%, sir?
Mr. Mayor, can you?
Post-certified employees, that's your road officers, your detectives, those who are post-certified. Where that comes from is several years ago, the county opted to enter the bridge program, retirement program for law enforcement officers, for post-certified officers, where they have the option at 25 years of service, at age 55, if they have 25 years of service, they can retire at full benefits. So for us to offer that, we have to contribute more for them every year. And then the regular rate, the 7%, is just for all other employees who can retire at 30 years with full benefits.
Chairman?
Did we have?
Yes, just real quick, maybe I'm missing something, or in our packet, it says 9.81 for public safety officers, and you quoted 10.
All right, 9.81 is the minimum
Okay.
that we have to, and we contribute 10.5.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We have anyone else? Straight on that. Did we get the motion and second on that?
Yes.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Item 5B, Pharmaceutical Services Agreement between A&A Services, LLC, doing business as Save RX Prescription Services, and the Hamblen County Government. Mr. Mayor.
Last month, we came to you with a recommendation to change our pharmacy benefit manager from Blue Cross Blue Shield to Save RX. And what's in your packet is their proposal. That's the first document that's in front of you. And then the second document is the contract. And then the third document is what is called a BAA agreement, or it's the Business Associate Agreement, which allows, where we agree, Save RX and Hamblen County agrees to exchange data, healthcare data, which would otherwise be confidential. So that's what the BAA agreement's for. So we have what's before you is the contract to switch to Save RX for our pharmacy benefit management. It's a 2-year agreement. And as I mentioned last month, and you can see it, the numbers are in the proposal. Save RX has analyzed our pharmacy claims for calendar year 2022, and they've told us that we can expect about $150,000 savings through better purchasing of the drugs, of use of the manufacturer's coupon programs, and then a benefit assistance program for employees. So we're recommending that we switch PBMs for the 2-year period.
I have a motion to accept.
Motion.
Mr. Reed, second.
Second.
Mr. Richardson, any discussion?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, two questions. Did the attorney go over that contract? Did the county attorney? Okay, next question. Back 2 months ago, I looked at our self-insured policy, and you just now, this last meeting, passed to put more into it. Will this take care of that so that we will not have a boost again?
It will get us through this fiscal year,
And that will be through what month, honey?
June.
And my apologies for calling you honey. I apologize. Okay, so that'll get us through June. And the $150,000 that they're saying that will save us, you think that'll change it sufficiently that it'll take care of a lot of the problem?
I think what we'll have to do, and we'll address it during the budget process, is we'll have to increase the amount of money that we put into the self-insurance fund because of the increase in healthcare costs and claims. So
Thank
this is just changing the pharmacy benefit manager is just one step toward improving the health of our self-insurance plan.
You sound like you've looked at something else. Would you like to enlighten us further?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I just thought maybe you sound real positive, so I thought maybe you'd looked at another alternative too to help lower it.
I mean, you look at the amount of money you put in the program, you look at your claims, you look at where the claims come from, and we've done all that.
Okay,
So during the budget time, we'll present some ideas.
thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
may I ask?
Yes.
Knowing what I know about insurance, it is a tough deal to do what you've done, to research and to find out you're saving $150,000. I thank you because it's important. Insurance, we're charged all the time, large amounts to our insurance companies, and we all end up paying for it. So I appreciate the research behind it. It's a lot, and I know, so I thank you.
Amanda deserves a lot of that credit.
Mr. Mayor, the $150,000, is that over the 2-year period
That's per year.
per year?
Yes, sir.
Just a comment, we can't predict who's going to get sick and who's going to have cancer, who's not. So that's just
In this year, this last claims year, or the year we're about to finish, has been, I'm going to speak as a person or the entity that offers the health care benefit. This has been the worst year we've had as far as claims go since we've been self-funded. And so we'll exceed our premiums by about $1 million. And so that's never happened through the years. But in a self-insured plan, that's what happens. That this is the first time that we've had these kind of claims.
Anyone else have any questions? Let's take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Item 5C, revised May 2023 contract, a sale with County and Emergency Communications District. Mr. Mayor.
Next in your packet is the contract for the sale of the Health Department building to 911. And you adopted the contract, 2 months ago, I guess, and then we forwarded on to 911, and they came back with a counter, so to speak. And there's been one change that that their board, they've approved this version that's before you, and there's one sentence difference, two actually, from the original document that you approved. And it is on page 3 under insurance, item number 9, insurance. And this is about the insurance of the building. And it says, the new part of it is in red, and it says, "The county shall reimburse ECD for all insurance premiums paid by ECD until the health department moves out of the building. The reimbursement shall extend only until the last day of occupancy by the health department and be refunded pro rata." So basically, what's happening is, since we won't own the building, the 911 will carry the insurance on the building, and then we'll reimburse them the premiums. And so that's what this language is about. So the recommendation is that you adopt this document with this change, and it's already been approved by the 911 board.
So let me, maybe it slipped through me. 911 will take occupancy.
No, they'll take ownership,
I mean, well, ownership,
but they won't be in the building,
but we'll pay the insurance.
because we'll still be in the building. The health department
Oh,
will
we'll still be in the
will
building.
be-
Okay, I'm
we're-
sorry.
We're hoping to close in June,
Okay, I got you.
and then, so we'll be in the building. The health department will be in the building,
Right.
and so we'll pay the insurance.
Have a motion to accept.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that move.
Mr. Cutshaw, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Doty, seconds. Any questions, comments, thoughts, prayers?
Just one thing, so they're not going to accept any responsibility since they own the building?
No, we'll make the repairs to it while we're still in it.
I'm talking about the cost of the insurance.
No, we'll pay it. I mean, they will have paid us for the building, but we'll pay the insurance.
But we're only paying that insurance as long as we have entities in it, correct, Mayor?
And that'd be kind of in lieu of rent or something. Okay.
That's the way I see it too, that, because we're still in it, I understand this is kind of a deal where we went ahead and finalized our contract to sell the building, but yet we're gonna stay in it, and our cost is the monthly insurance claim, or the monthly insurance premium.
Which we would be paying anyway if we didn't sell it.
Right.
What this does, Rodney, is they'll pay us for the building now, and so we can use those funds. Well, we've already spent them on buying the shopping center. We'll just reimburse the general fund for the money that we used to buy the shopping center.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ms. Howe.
Yes, sir, thank you. So how is the Oak Tree Plaza building coming along? Are they,
It's cleaned. The health department, the state, regional, and local health department folks met with the architect last week
okay,
to start the programming phase of the design work.
okay,
The company that was hired to do the as-is plans have done their work,
oh, okay.
and so they're progressing in the planning stages. And then I've met with the sheriff and Chief Deputy Ellis and to look at the location of the impound lot.
Right.
So we've started that work too.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Chairman Hunt?
Yes,
I've got, this may be a little premature, but when the Mercy Management takes over that facility, I'm assuming they're going to want to remodel. Who's going to be responsible for that?
They are.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Their puppy.
That's all I have.
Anyone else? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Item 5D, Resolution 23, a resolution authorizing the 2023-2024 litter grant application. Mr. Mayor.
This is a grant that we apply for and receive every year, and we pay a couple of corrections officers out of it that lead the litter crew, and then we also use it for litter education and to buy other items and containers for our anti-litter program and litter pickup program. And so this is just to a resolution authorizing us to apply for the grant for this coming fiscal year.
Okay.
We have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Doughty, you have a second?
Second.
Mr. Harville? Now then, Ms. Howell.
Yes, sir. So, when you said education, so who do our guys, who do they educate?
Well, we contract with Keep Morristown, Hamblen County Beautiful
Okay.
to do the education. They do some of it in schools, they do some of it in public, and, but that's where those monies
All right.
go.
Well, that, maybe they'll say, hey, maybe we ought to put it on the radio and the newspaper, all that education stuff, and tell regular people.
I'll make that
Yeah, we need
suggestion.
everybody and their mother to know. Okay. Thank
Any,
you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moved. Item 5E, a resolution authorizing the 2024 bulletproof vest grant application. Mr. Mayor.
Again, this is a resolution asking for permission to apply for the bulletproof vest grant, which we get periodically, about every other year, every third year maybe, and we're just asking for permission to apply for the grant.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Doughty, second.
Second.
Mr. Richardson, thank you. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are new bulletproof things, vests, right? These are brand new. So what happens when a bad guy gets in, shoots it doesn't destroy the other one, does it? The regular, the ordinary one?
I don't understand your
Well,
question.
I just want to make sure we're just getting a few new ones and keeping up with the grant, and if it does the job, and if a bullet hits the vest, it just,
It's done with.
the vest is done with, or the bullet's done with?
The vest is done with.
Ah.
They're good, they're good for 5 years.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
One shot, they're done. Or one shot.
Unless they're shot? Gee.
They're done.
Phew, okay.
Anyone else?
Comment.
Yes.
Thank God for the vest.
Oh,
Yes.
amen.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5F, pay increase for highway commissioners. Mayor?
Last month, the commission approved or confirmed the amendment to the private act that created the highway commission, giving the county commission the authority to set the pay for the highway commissioners. The highway commissioners last fall requested a $50 a month raise, and so and the commission didn't have the authority to do it at that time, which you do now after the amendment to the private act. So this is coming back before you for effective this month would be the $50 increase. There's 7 members. And that goes with the raises that were given to other bodies, other boards last fall.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Richardson, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Doughty, any comments or questions?
Chairman Mahan,
Yes, Ms. Green.
quick question. If I read it correctly, the road commissioners would receive $250 apiece?
Yes, and the
Okay.
chairman 400
Okay, first of all, how often do they meet?
once a month.
Okay. And chairman's $250, $200 more?
It's not my choice.
$150 more.
$150 more.
It just seems extreme for 1 hour. Okay.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Chairman, I have a question.
Ms. Ahern?
And you may not have the information. When's the last time they got a raise? 15, 20 years. That's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moved. Move to our budget amendments, item 5GI, Hamblen County Board of Education, budget amendment number 7 of an increase of $4 million. Ms. Antrican.
Thank you. This first amendment is a state grant for CTE programs. And you'll note it looks a little bit different. There are architectural fees in there. And those fees are for projects that will be completed in the next fiscal year. And the state required us to put the funds that will be obligated for next year in that $599. That's why there's a lump sum of 3.8 in there. But those projects are 4 classroom expansions with the addition of some CTE equipment that we received through grants. The classroom space has shrunk, and so this will help us build classroom space for those 4 classrooms, to construct an animal grooming lab, and to relocate some greenhouses in the CTE program. It will also provide an instructional facilitator, 4 middle school health science positions, and a construction teacher, in addition to supplies, materials, and professional development for all CTE programs. We can answer questions on that one first.
Is this all grant money?
It is, it's all from the state.
Yeah, that's good.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Harville, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Doty, any questions? You said this was all state money. And doesn't affect maintenance of effort or any of that.
Question, sir.
Yes, Ms. Green.
Is any of this COVID money by any chance?
No, this is for the state of Tennessee, it won't be federal at all.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Item 5G2, Hamblen County Board of Education, budget amendment number 8, increase of $1,226,307.70. Ms. Andrews.
This amendment is for our summer camp programs that we've had for the last couple of years that are funded through the state of Tennessee. It will serve a little over 1,000 students this summer, or we hope it will. They're taking enrollment at the present time at 4 different sites this summer. And it will provide transportation as well for those programs for any students. Be happy to answer questions on that one first.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Doty, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Harville, any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Howe?
Yes, sir, thank you. So tell us about the camp. You said camp?
Summer camps, summer learning camps.
Okay, so does that go with those 3rd graders, or does it go for anybody who needs?
Well, it is required by law for the 3rd graders who are below or approaching grade level on their TCAP reading scores. So required for those students, but they can enroll any student.
Okay. So what do you think the number of students, oh, you said 1,000?
They're projecting 1,000.
Wow.
We're taking enrollment, so we don't have a firm
Yes, of
number
course.
just yet.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And
Chairman Hahn, question.
Ms. Green?
I noticed with Knox County, they've got a waiting list because it's so bad. Are we in the same boat, or are we pretty able to accept anybody that puts in for it?
so I don't have the numbers, you're talking about the 3rd grade law?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have those numbers, but I'll be glad to get those and send them back to you through Mayor Britton, if that would be.
That will work.
Have any other questions?
Chairman Hahn,
Yes.
did I understand you said there's going to provide transportation as well? Wonderful. Wonderful.
And they'll provide meals as well, breakfast, lunch, and
Wonderful.
snack for those students.
They did that last year, didn't they?
They did. And if I may, there's a second part to that amendment that is on that second page that was not summer camp related, so if I could cover that one.
Sure, please do.
Before we take a vote. We also have our Safe Schools grant, which normally, you see the initial amendment, that this is moving money because it's moving between personnel and non-personnel. At the end of the year, we don't want to leave anything on the table for that grant. So this will move any remaining funds from personnel and professional development down into equipment to fully expend that grant for safety-related equipment. And the second part of that is related to transportation. We have, of course, had a driver shortage like a lot of other school districts. And so our mechanics and a lot of our school personnel have had to pick up and drive this year, which has created some overtime for us. And so this is moving funds into those salary lines so that we can cover that. And that's all for that, those parts.
No problem. Thank you for information. Any other questions?
Chairman Hahn,
Yes, Ms. Green.
do you still have a shortage, severe shortage of bus drivers, ma'am?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we welcome applicants. At this time, all 5 of our mechanics are driving at the present time, so.
Anyone else? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion moves. Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Item 5G3, Fund 101, General Debt Service Fund, $185,253. Ms. Hale.
Excuse me, budget amendment is for the General Debt Service Fund. In February, Commission voted to term the interest rate swap agreement. Chris Bessler came and addressed that with you all. This money, or this amendment, just reallocates the money into the appropriate expense lines to cover that cost of the term.
Motion to accept.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Long, a second.
Second.
Mr. Doty, do we have any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moved. Item 5G4, Fund 101, Public Safety, $18,131.
This amendment will place funds into the building improvement line for camera upgrades in the Justice Center. Those expenses will be covered by the JAG grant, but it's with a timing difference. We won't be receiving the grant money until after this end of the fiscal year. So therefore, we're doing this budget amendment to cover the cost in this fiscal year, and then we'll receive the grant money in the next fiscal.
Have a motion to accept.
So moved.
Mr. Doty, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hardman, any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 5G5, Fund 131, Board and Committee Member Fees, $700.
So this goes in hand with what Mayor Britton was discussing with you about the Highway Commission fees. And if we, since you have voted now to increase those fees for the board members and the chairman, $700 will be needed to get us through May and June to cover those increases. And we did have some excess funds in the state retirement line, so we're able to use it instead of taking it out of fund balance.
Have a motion to accept.
So moved.
Mr. Cutshaw, thank you. And need a second.
Second.
Mr. Doty, any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moves. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Hahn. We will now move into the Personnel Committee. Chairman Doty, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Personnel Committee to order. Do we have anyone wishing to address this committee? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Old business, we have none. With new business, item 4A, we have the approval of military pay submissions, which is one associate, past 3 years. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Ahern. Do I have a second?
Second.
Who made the second?
Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And we have item 4B is approval of longevity pay submissions. We have one associate there with 3 years. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Horner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Helm. Thank you, sir. Any discussion? All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Doty. We'll now move into the Public Services Committee. Chairman Richardson, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Call this Public Services Committee to order. Do we have any visitors wishing to address the committee? Seeing none. Item 3, there's no old business. Item 4A, noise issue discussion, information update only. So I sent out an email and asked for some input from the entire legislative body and had some feedback come in. And as I see it, there's a couple, 3 options, and option 3 seemed to be the most interest of the body. And option 3 was draft a statement that the citizens of Hamblen County can expect to have a quiet enjoyment of their property during certain hours of the day, and then the owner or tenant has the right to enjoy his or her property without unreasonable or excessive noise interference from their neighbors. Disruption of quiet enjoyment from non-compliant offenders may constitute a legal nuisance and can be reported to law enforcement for legal action. So with that, the consensus or the feedback was that option 3 seems to be a good idea. There should be some questions about time. There should be some questions about noise level. And then the part that had the most, I guess, discussion was how to enforce this. And I talked to Bob today, and he'd sent me some information earlier. Basically, the process now is citizen calls, registers a complaint, the Sheriff's Department will go out and issue a verbal warning. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bob. And then if that doesn't suffice, the next step is to go back and issue a citation. And that citation is about a $50 fine at this point. Okay, so that citation would reference a misdemeanor as a state statute with disorderly conduct or some language to that effect. If the continued violation happens, there would be a process that we'd have to get Judge Collins and his court involved. And there was some question about a graduated scale of fine, whether it's a $50 fine for the first offense, second offense is something, third offense is something, and then how that goes. Now, I know we've kicked this can down the road for some time, and we need to figure out a way to help the citizens take care of their problem. So I'm open to suggestions. Any other comment? Public comment?
Chairman Richardson, if I'm making $2,500 or $3,000 for one party, $50 ain't gonna hurt my feelings, dear. You're gonna have to hit them harder than that if you make any distance. And those folks deserve some action. I cannot imagine what they go through. I really can't. I'm blessed with good neighbors. Personally, I was talking with an employee down there this afternoon, and you and I discussed this briefly before the meeting. I don't understand why that they can't just step up and take care of it as a good business practice. In other words, as a good neighbor, and respect their neighbors.
That would be the simplest solution.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I agree with Commissioner Green, and is $50 the most we can do?
$50 without a jury trial being a right of the accused. Also, a misdemeanor also carries a jail sentence. It's very rarely imposed, certainly. You know, someone who is a repeat offender, I think we would recommend that they go to jail as opposed to just paying a charge
And
of
that's
$50.
up to a 10 days in jail, correct?
I think it's 30 days.
Okay.
We have class C, not a criminal area these days.
Well, could it not be, okay, not only do you have to pay us $50, you cannot, don't even think about getting next weekend until you've gone to see the judge or something. I mean, I'm like Commissioner Green, $50. Whew. And really, this is being good neighbors, and we have a neighbor who's not a good neighbor. And it's,
I don't think we'd have the right to shut them down.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we
Good.
would even have the right to shut them down, or I don't think we have, there's no request for an event there, no paperwork for a request for an event that I'm aware of.
Chairman?
Yes.
I was just going to ask our attorney again, is there a process or some way that this commission could put more teeth into something like this? Is there a process that we can go through?
Well, there's always a public nuisance process that can be pursued through Chancery Court. Early on, I had recommended that these taxpayers pursue their own nuisance action, and they have not chosen to do that, apparently. But that a nuisance action can be pursued, and you could get an injunction, and if the injunction were violated, you could probably ultimately padlock it through a lot of legal maneuvering through Chancery Court.
Would that be a function of the body or of the neighborhood, or both?
That would be, it's still possible for either party to do that. The private party owners in the neighborhood can still pursue their own private nuisance action and ask for damages. I mentioned that before. And the county can also pursue its own action for nuisance and for an injunction if it became necessary. You know, you get 5 or 6 violations, continuing serious violations, then you're going to start seeking means of redress.
Do we have any record on file that how many times we've been down there that you
For
can
instance, your 291 show every time that there's been a call.
Okay.
Okay. Is that frequent?
Yes.
Okay.
Every week.
Habitual offender. Whew. Well, now, let me ask you this. Do we, in Dandridge, they have a thing that says, hey, guess what? At 10 o'clock, we've got quiet time. Now, they don't expect their constituents to get an attorney because Dandridge has already said this is quiet time. What if Hamblen County did that? And we said Thursday night, you can whatever it is. Friday night and Saturday, you can keep the music going till 11. Now, they don't ask their constituents, their taxpayers, to go get an attorney. They say, this is how we're doing it in Dandridge. What if we did that in Hamblen County?
That's your all's.
Okay, but I mean, we could do that, couldn't we, huh?
You could do it. I'm not going to express my opinion about it, but you can do it. I think it'd be very poorly received. I think you may be killing a fly with a sledgehammer. Is my concern about that.
it also, Chairman, if I may interject, it also doesn't address an afternoon problem of, you can have a noise pollution in the afternoon if it's egregious, that maybe need to be addressed. So it's not always a curfew that will answer the question. And as the sheriff, as everybody has suggested, we have one issue right now in our county. And trying to step easily to address this one issue is difficult.
Well, the biggest fly in the room is the Red Barn, but there
Yes.
are about 5 other event centers in Hamblen County that, might need good neighborly reminders. And that sledgehammer is appealing at the moment, but I understand what you're saying.
But if we put a time limit on it, at 9 o'clock, it might be outrageous. If you put a time limit, they're gonna say, well, you said we could do it till 10 or 11. So, I'm quite sure it starts pretty early down there. So, I don't know about a time limit.
Well, I just remember what my dad said, that nothing good happens after midnight, and I'm thinking 11 o'clock is pretty darn close.
Loud radio.
You're disclosing our age, baby.
So the question is from the body, there's a couple of issues that I see. One is a noise limit. How do you quantify that without setting up another
Body or government.
some kind of regulatory growth pattern? The timing, is 10 o'clock's good for somebody, but 12 o'clock might be okay for somebody else. And then how do we enforce that? Does that require more people? I know that's a loaded question, but we would expect
Well,
you
we
to.
prioritize the calls as they come in anyway if we get backed up, so. They could call in and think that it's taking us a while to get there, it's because we got other priority calls going. that we
Emergency
take
situation
before.
somewhere else, right?
Correct.
So if you put a 10 PM and 70 decibels on it, how do you call the sheriff's department and have them down there at midnight because of another call, and it be 50 decibels and, whatever? So there's just a lot of variables to it to solve one problem.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Yes.
Sheriff, do we know if the parties comply once officers show up? Do they turn it down and keep it down the rest of the night, or do they turn it back up as soon as you leave?
Captain will probably answer it better than I can.
Yeah.
He's answered the calls on night shift.
It's rare that they comply the entire night. They'll initially try to, but the problem they're running into is the people running the venue are not in control of the knob. It's the band or the stereo equipment that each party is bringing in themselves, and they have their own individuals that are running it, which runs into another problem. Who gets the citation? The venue, the guy operating the DJ booth, the band. So,
the venue's in charge of it.
I would think the
They're
owner of the
responsible.
property should receive the.
Property owner.
Mr. Chairman,
I
I
would
would
think they could
think
flip a
that
breaker
we
and
would
turn the
need
power
a
off, kill the
citation
speakers.
to both of them,
That's gonna shut it down.
to the owner of the property and the event. Because I don't think you're going to change the owner of the properties, in my understanding in this case is in Nashville. But if you issued a citation to both of them, then something might be.
Is that,
I think that's certainly a possibility. The guy in Nashville is not going to care a whole lot about the $50, but when word gets out that the people are being cited that are operating the party or whatever, the quinceanera or whatever they're having. I was there Saturday night. I was there for Plain Saturday night. I was at a
Specifically for you.
fundraiser, and I didn't think it was loud. But it may very well have been in the neighborhood. It didn't seem loud in the building.
And one, Dan said no, okay.
Yeah, they have fundraising for hospice.
Mr. Chairman.
Specifically on you, right? Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I know I asked this question, but, and I'll ask the county attorney, is there any way that we can compel this owner to come and at least talk to us and see if he can't make these people that are his employees get this under control?
We can suggest, we can invite him and implore with him to do something different than what he's doing. I don't think we can compel him. I mean, maybe we cite him the first time, he'll feel more inclined to appear. But he's been here before.
Okay.
And I've dealt a little bit with him. The $50 is, you're all correct, $50 is probably not going to bother him.
Oh, yeah.
So can-
I'm certain.
But the party that is carrying on the party is, if they're cited, that's going to get some attention, I think.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
did I hear you say that we cannot have more than $50?
You cannot without a jury trial. And going into jury trial, we'll ask the sheriff about what that type of situation that would put us in, with people testifying, having to testify, jury trials. I mean, it's a possibility if you decide you want to go that route with a
How
greater
often,
fine.
how often can we give a $50? How?
Every single time that they do that. And I think that Judge Collins would probably take note of the fact that that was a repeat offender and probably do something a little more stern each time that something appeared, would be my thought.
But to get them to appear, you issue a citation and a $50 fine or fee plus court costs, and they would have to go to Judge Collins.
We could look into situations where we do a gradation to say somebody, if the same party's guilty of, let's say, 3 times,
Right.
then maybe then at that point, you say, well, we don't care, we're gonna go ahead and give the maximum fine and give them a jury trial, if that's something that would be.
I don't know, Stan, I think you have a good idea. I think sometimes when you have a problem like this, approach the person and, tell us how you can help us and see what he could do. And then we could come with the $50 or whatever we want to do, but give him an opportunity to take care of the problem.
We can give him the opportunity, will he comply?
And you can invite him and he may not show up.
It's up to him, that's right, that's up to him. If we give him the chance, and I feel good moving forward.
Some of y'all may recall, that's already happened. He wasn't very receptive.
No, it wasn't.
Mr. Chairman.
We have reached out to him before?
Absolutely. He was before the
Ms. Green?
commission previously.
Oh,
And not very receptive.
What about,
maybe do not want to go that way.
Ms. Green?
what about if it's an event place, do they not have requirements that he has to meet in order to do that? If I remember correctly, Mr. Neesmith, Commissioner Neesmith does the same thing, but he put things in place to keep his neighbors from having to go through this. So do they have requirements? I mean, do they have to have a certain amount of insulation to avoid the sound? Do they have to have something otherwise? Is there a way of looking at to see if there is any requirements that we can shut him down on or restrict him? I guess that would be the better word, to restrict his things and talk to him about it.
From my conversation with Mr. Neesmith, those restrictions are put on by him personally in his operation, standard operating procedure. I'm not sure that code enforcements or building codes or anything would have zoning would be affected by what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Chairman Richardson, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, Ms. Hale, you go ahead.
Well, I was wondering, I got sitting here thinking, didn't they get, who was it, Al Capone because of tax evasion? What if we went your way? What if we said, oh, dear me, the band is way too loud, you've got the citation. And then we write a letter to him and say, sorry about that band, they've got a citation, better not be using them till they're cleared up. Maybe if we did go your route and said, the party engaged was out of line. Sheriff had to be down there 3 times, my. You don't, ugh. I don't know, but would that be an attacking point that might get his attention?
Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to recommend that you read your statement again, and we move forward with a, something that's, states
Okay.
the reasonable effort of, I'm gonna let you say that, but along with what Commissioner Long, Commissioner House saying, it's gonna be tough to cite a particular band when you get a verbal warning once. It'd take a multiple offense in the same evening act to probably get somebody like that. It would take more than one event of noise pollution in one evening. But yet the barn being an habitual offender, that might be something to look at. I'm just stating that maybe we can move forward with something, just something. Get it on the books and get started with something.
Okay, so option 3 that you've seen is draft a statement that the citizens of Hamblen County can expect to have quiet enjoyment of their property during certain hours of the day. The owner or tenant has the right to enjoy his or her property without unreasonable or excessive noise interference from their neighbors. Disruption of quiet enjoyment from non-compliant offenders may constitute a legal nuisance and can be reported to law enforcement for legal action.
I'd like to put that in the form of motion.
Got a motion?
You want to make a motion?
Chairman Cutchall made a motion,
Need a second.
I'll second.
and Chairman Huntsman seconded that to draft this, be a resolution, a statement of understanding, I guess would be a,
Yeah, it's just to get something started and see where we can go with it. Maybe we contact the gentleman.
any discussion?
Yeah.
It needs.
Once we do this, if we pass this and do this, we can always amend something to it if we needed to down the road, if it's a
Correct.
real issue. But at least, and Chris is right, getting this thing down, it's really kind of important to kind of get something started.
Okay.
Okay, man, yeah.
Mr. Long?
Question I have then is the sheriff, so there'll be no going back to previous citations, right? This will have to start all over.
Oh, yeah, you can't go back.
Can't
on
go back,
previous
so
orders.
we pass this, then it starts.
And I don't know if they're having the same band every weekend, or if it's something different. They're not.
Commissioner Howe, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. In the last sentence, from non-compliant offenders may, how about will? How about, there's no, you see that last sentence? Disruption of quiet enjoyment from non-compliant offenders may. Could we not say shall or will or?
I would refer that to
Oh.
legal, shall, will, or may.
Could be
may
extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, can constitute a legal nuisance. The sentence is disruption of quiet enjoyment from non-compliant offenders may constitute a legal nuisance, shall constitute, or will.
May.
May, okay.
May is keep may?
I would say that would be, it's all going to be some discretionary anyway, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem. It's very subjective.
Correct.
And to say shall, you tie hands, to say may, you give discretion
Okay.
to the officer.
Any other
I think
comment?
they want discretion, I don't think they're going to be required to basically write a citation each time someone complains after there's been a verbal warning.
Okay, thank you.
Once we
Commissioner.
have this resolution, can we then notify either the owner and the person who is in charge of the barn? This is our new resolution, and this is what we're gonna be doing.
I think it would be proper to send that, and even maybe certified.
At least they know that we're going to do something.
Yeah.
We're beginning to do something, but we're gonna start something.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? If not, let's take, is that proper?
It's your call, but
Go ahead.
it's-
We're gonna let this comment.
Kimberly Calkins, 82 East International Highway, Whitesburg. Now, I work security for Mr. Naismith.
Uh-huh.
He has them sign a contract that this is what they will do.
Right.
And that, you know, because he doesn't allow weapons on his property, no glass containers on his property, due for that fact. And I mean, and the way I see it, you know, he would be an idiot not to have a contract, because I mean, even in that contract, if you get hurt, and it's your own fault that you get hurt, you are responsible. If you're somewhere on his property that you're not supposed to be, because he still has horses and animals about, you know, if you decide not to park where you're supposed to and your car gets damaged, it still is not his fault, because this is signed, and that whoever is giving such party is responsible for any of that. So, I mean, you know, he has them, you know, it ends at 11. I mean, and he is there, he pulls the plug, trust me, he turns off the power and everything. So, I mean, you know, unless they have a responsible person at their venue to do such things.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt,
It's
but
okay.
that's what Wayne
Thank
does,
you.
so.
Yeah, I think that's a matter of their operating procedure, the individual, yeah. Okay, all right, so to be clear, draft this statement, and then will it go to the commission meeting? It will, right? Okay, all right. So we've had discussion, all in favor, vote, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Moving on, item 4B, Resolution 23, a resolution to amend the stormwater illicit discharge and legal connection regulations of Hamblen County.
I'm Lindsay Horn. Tina Whitaker is sick, so she asked me to represent these resolutions for her. I'm part of the stormwater staff.
Can you explain those to us?
Yes, these 4 documents that you have, they are required by the state of Tennessee for our stormwater department. They have been recently updated, and the ones that are submitted were approved by the Planning Commission and the stormwater staff. And so we just need your approval as well, so we can send these to the state and work to get in compliance with them from our audit.
Okay. All right, so we have now Resolution B. Do we have a motion to accept resolution, the first one, 4B?
So moved.
Ms. Ahern, have a second?
Second.
Mr. Harville, any discussion?
Yes, I have one question, just for clarification, Ms. Horn. The state has required us to step forward and do this, or else, correct?
Yes, these resolutions are required by the state to be passed by commission.
Yes.
And they have been passed previously. There's just some updates to these to sort of meet their requirements, to be more cohesive throughout all 4 documents. So, and the changes are in your packets, read.
Okay, so I have one question as well. I was looking through the documents and I found some different fines that didn't seem like they agree with each other. Can you go back and check that to make sure? There was a $50 fee or fine, and then there was some that had $50 to $5,000.
Those were supposed to have been corrected.
Okay. Can you just check that?
Yes,
Okay.
we can make those adjustments, but it
Okay.
should be $50 a day. That was what it was previously, so that may have been a correction that was missed.
Yeah, there's some of them in there that went to, some were struck and then some were not, so.
Yeah, those are what they were prior.
Okay. All right, so we have, any other discussion?
Yes, I have a question. I noticed in here, and I can't find the exact thing, I should have marked it, so I'll apologize. But it said something about hiring somebody to do this. Why, is the state mandating that we hire extra staff?
They're not necessarily requiring it, but we don't have the current resources to accomplish some of the things that are required. There are things such as monitoring the streams, going out, collecting samples, having the samples analyzed, and going out and doing mapping of the culverts, catch basins, and drainage easements throughout the county. And as it is now, we don't really have the ability to do that with the staff we have, so we've requested additional funding to have somebody be full-time to help us with those things.
And how much money are we looking at for that?
I don't have the answer to that.
We'll address that during the budget process.
Okay. Any other?
But the state's not mandating that we hire someone, I'm assuming?
They're not mandating that we hire somebody, but the things that they are mandating are the monitoring and sampling and the mapping. Those things have to be done, and those are issues that we have not been in compliance with. So we have requested, as the staff here, additional funding to have somebody come in and be able to help us, since we don't have enough staff and resources at this time.
Clarification. Chairman, clarification. I think we are required to have a stormwater coordinator, though. Is that
Which
correct?
I believe is Tina. I think she's sort of over all of them. She's been labeled the stormwater coordinator.
Okay. All right, thank you.
This would just be an additional person to help out with those things, going out into the field and doing those samples, collecting them, doing the whole process of identifying the different culverts with the identification system we've developed, and taking pictures of them, making sure that all of the information on the GIS map is updated and accurate. It also shows, which culverts need maintenance, and we can update that as we go too. So it's a very involved process.
Mr. Long?
Mr. Chairman, the cost of this employee is minimum to a $3,000 a day fine for a culvert. So that's what the fine can be, $3,000 a day.
Okay. Any other question or comment? Let's vote to motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion carries. Resolution, and this is a continuation, of course, resolution to adopt the Hamblen County Stormwater Enforcement Response Plan.
The
Comments?
enforcement response plan is just, as it sounds, it's just how we are going to be able to enforce these different things, especially with violations to our stormwater regulations that are the other three documents.
Okay. Have that in the form of a motion? Anybody?
Motion.
Motion from Ms. Ahern, second.
Second.
Second from Ms. Howe.
Yes, sir.
Open for discussion, Ms. Howe.
So that means if somebody puts their garbage in the ditch and it blocks the rainwater, the stormwater, that's an issue.
That would be illicit discharge, yes. If it is hindering the flow of the water, that would be an illicit discharge violation, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question?
I have one. What about if we have a situation where a street gets flooded on a regular basis because of runoff?
I'm not sure, I don't know that that would be a violation necessarily. That might be something that the road department would have to address, but I can find out and let you know.
Any other questions? So let's vote the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, a like sign. The motion carries. Item 4D, resolution to amend the stormwater quality buffer zone regulations of Hamblen County, Tennessee. state standards? Okay. Have that in the form of,
Made, but it's just another one that needs to be required by the state.
we have a motion for that?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Hahn, we have a second,
Second.
and that was Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, no, let's vote the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. 4E, resolution to amend stormwater erosion and sediment control regulations of Hamblen County, Tennessee. It's just standard updates. Okay, have that in the form of a motion.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Hahn, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Ahern.
I got a question.
Any discussion? Mr. Husband.
If somebody's in violation that we're doing here, who's gonna go out there and take care of it? Say we got a storm here and throws a bunch of leaves in there, trash in there, and stuff like that, and it blocks the thing up there and you can't get out. And, at what point who's gonna run out there and check all that out and do that and clean it out?
Well, we have some priority sites that we check on when it rains, but as far as cleaning it out, that is not necessarily our department. That would probably be highway maintenance to actually go in and clean it. But we do monitor those areas and let them know which ones are dirty or clogged or need attention.
The person that's gonna get in trouble is the owner, I assume, is that right? I mean, are the, yeah, because I mean.
With the culverts or catch basins, or just?
Any of these things right here, you could put some teeth into it there, and they don't do what you want to do here.
I'm not really certain how to answer that. I'll check with Tina and get back with you on that.
I mean, you got a code of ordinance that works for you, that can go out, I guess, and check it and see if he sees a violation there, and then try to determine who's responsible, how that can be worked, cleaned out, I guess. I don't know.
See, Joe, the mechanics of the enforcement needs to be worked on.
Yeah, I don't see it being worked out.
Once we get, like Lindsay, you know, we were talking about additional help in stormwater. Lindsay's part-time. We have the coordinator, which is Tina, and she works part-time among other things on stormwater. Lindsay works part-time. So we would make a full-time position on that, but I think enforcement, like for a stopped-up culvert or something like that, that'd be a road problem.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about,
But as far as some other things, it's tied in, like on the bulk waste, that would be tied into the bulk waste regulations, and that gets done. This is all kind of tied together.
Yeah.
And so we'll need, once they're in place, we'll work on an enforcement strategy. But we gotta have these standards.
so your point will be basically notification of any of these violations we're talking about here.
Yes.
Do your part.
Yes, if
And then
we
you'll
find
try to
someone
sub it
has
out
committed
to
a
try to see
violation,
which
we
way
do
is the
let
best way to
them
handle it. Okay.
And then, Joe, to your point, there's an assessment of $50 to $5,000 a day.
It would be the $50,
Okay.
yes.
So, does that answer your question? Any other questions? If not, let's vote the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, the motion carries. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson. We will now move into our bulk waste committee. Chairman Horner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Bulk Waste Study Committee to order. Anyone wishing to address the committee may do so at this time.
Thank you, sir. Name Dan Pellegrin, 7290 Sweetbriar Drive. Just have a clarification on number 4B. Discontinue county pickup of trash, bulk waste, if not separated. I hope you don't just stop this throughout the whole county because you have a few bad apples. And also, on bulk waste regulations, on page 4 that you had, says don't put things like refrigerator stoves or anything in there, and it'll be collected on a schedule determined by the Highway Sanitation Department. Do we currently have a set schedule? Because I never seen a schedule, so I don't know what it is. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Gwen Holden, 8150 West Point Drive. Right now, I got a wagon, and I got 3 refrigerators, 4 lawnmowers. My husband and son are the ones that loaded it, and they're taking it to Morristown Metals. They're not throwing it in the ditch. We pay taxes to have this stuff picked up, I heard. But I don't want to put that stuff in the ditch. I don't. I don't understand. Back years ago when we was growing up, if we had anything we needed to take to landfill, we took it ourselves. It's just like the cupboards. I got 2 cupboards down there where I live. I keep them clean so the water will run through them. I got them out there in Road Junction. Put them in myself, bought them. Keep them clean so water will run through them. I don't get it. We got some of the laziest people in Hamblen County I ever seen. They think everything has to be handed to them. Well, I've worked for it. I'm still working for it. And I thank God I can. I don't understand. Mama said, if you don't work, you don't eat. We've spoiled people here. We've spoiled them. They don't even want to work. Don't even want to get a job. I mean, come on. I mean, if we pay taxes on this and you all stop picking it up, they ain't gonna like it. They'll want their tax money back.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we don't have any old business. Item 4A is to discontinue county pickup of construction waste for residential properties effective August 1st, 2023. I brought this to the attention last meeting that a lot of construction people are flipping houses, and construction people are charging the people they're working for to haul it off or put it at the road. If they haul it off, not all of them, but there's some out there that'll take it to their house and set it at the road, and the county pick it up. We don't have the manpower or the trucks to pick up as much trash as people are just throwing out. And I don't know why people think that we should be picking it up anyway. We've got free trash pickup. We're the only county that has door-to-door garbage pickup. And it was said then if it didn't go in the trash can, we wouldn't pick it up. But it's morphed into everything. I mean, and we have renters who rent. When people move out, everything goes to the road. And so I would propose to start with the discontinuation of construction waste, because if we don't know what's in it. If they come out there with a scoop, pick it up, it goes in the landfill. We don't know what it is. And it kind of ties in with what they're doing with planning and with stormwater. And later on, we'll get to another issue about placing it in the ditch line. The ditch line, my understanding, the county owns for a part, you know, and if they keep putting it in there, we charge them litter fee. Like Miss Green said, you got to get in their pocket. And so to start with this to not pick up construction waste anymore, I'd like to see that as a start. We take that off the plate, then maybe the county can get on a schedule. They're not on any schedule except the garbage pickup now. The bulk waste, the brush, the whatever is just off the charts. So, I would open for discussion, or do I need a motion first, Mr. Chairman?
I'll make that a motion.
Have a motion, do we hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we got now.
Motion and a second.
Yeah.
Mr. Richardson's not on that.
Excuse me?
Mr. Richardson's not on both
Who did you
ways.
I'm sorry,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Each one of them
Yeah.
separate.
I'm not
Yeah.
on both ways.
Okay, let's redo that.
So I need a motion.
I'll make his motion to that effect.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr.
I'm
Crum.
on there.
Yeah,
Now, is
you
there
are.
any discussion?
Yeah, there's plenty of discussion. You go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Thank you. How are you gonna, you're gonna tell the we want it to be not only construction, but remodel, I mean, the whole business of,
What's,
okay.
you identify construction waste.
Yes, sir, okay. How are you gonna let them know,
Well, that's our next
oh, okay.
animal to tackle, how
Yes,
we
sir.
educate them
Yeah.
and let them know. And that's why I set it out
Yes, sir.
August the 1st,
I like that, yes, sir.
so they can start. You
Chairman
know,
Horn.
Aware.
we may put tag trash cans, we may word of mouth. The paper said they would help, you know, as you said, radio, just any way to get it out there that this is not gonna continue.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as Ms. Gwen said, I mean, heck,
Exactly.
we shouldn't be picking this up to begin with.
No. If it, remember that one I gave you, and it said if it doesn't fit, you can't commit? You know, I'm trying to go over the right.
should.
If you can't close the lid on it, you know, okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, thank you. There's several points here. I think, number one, that we as a commission need to realize we are not about to do away with bulk waste pickup. It's only to make it better, so we can make it more, feasible, get on a better schedule, that kind of thing. I want that known in the public, that this is not the intention of, or at least in my mind, that we're trying to do away with bulk waste. But with construction waste, I think just like we did with noise, it's a start. It's a good place to start, and finding a way to educate, let other folks know that we will no longer pick this up. I think there will be a tremendous effort in getting our schedule down, or even reducing that. I like what Ms. Gwynn said as well. We haul ours to the dump. Rarely have I ever done it, but it is handy. I know it's the most tangible service we have, bulk waste and trash pickup. That's what people can put their hands on. It's where our tax money's seen each and every week as garbage is picked up. So I think there's some efforts here and more discussion, but I like where we're headed.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with you there, but we're also not in the business of being junk haulers. This started out, there's stuff on the books here from June 2005. We need to make sure that we have all that cleaned up as well. These things started as brush trucks. They were called brush trucks for a reason. That was what we were going to pick up. And it's morphed into picking up everything in the world that anybody can throw out in a ditch. So we're going to have to make sure that this that we already have is going to correspond with everything that we're doing.
Chairman Horner,
Yes, ma'am.
quick question. Years ago, and it's been many years ago, when we were cutting brush and placing in the ditch line for the brush truck to pick up, they stopped and asked us if we had cut our brush or had it did. Why can we not enable the folks that drive those trucks to ask the questions? I mean, they did with us, and I didn't take it personally. I'm cheap, so we cut our own brush. Piled it out there. It's a good exercise for me. But they need to be able to do that without causing disruption. But I think it might get the word across as fast as anything else. Most people don't read the paper anymore. Most people don't listen to our meetings because they find them less than satisfying. But we need to get the word out. I will disagree. I think we have older people that are not able to handle some bulk items. And I don't want to eliminate something for our older community. And I don't mean to be prejudiced, folks, but I know older folks that do not own trucks, that do not have children that could help them with that, or even good neighbors, as we've already seen with the Red Barn tonight. No disrespect intended, but I would like for us to find something functional.
If I may, Mr. Chairman? Just add to what Ms. Green's saying, I do agree, because my parents, dad just passed not long ago, mom's 85. The one thing I want to say about that, though, is if those people are not in possession of a way to haul it and they're not able to move it, then they've not done the work. They've hired somebody to do it. So that person they've hired should be responsible for taking it out of there, because you don't go to Lowe's and pick up a new toilet and put it in the back of a Prius and if you're 85 years old and try to wrestle it in and change it out, you hire somebody.
That's true.
So I don't think we're taking away from elderly or those that are handicapped, because what this started out was, if you did the work yourself, if you didn't hire somebody, then the county would pick up, and the people that don't have the ability to haul this off didn't do this type of work.
Mr. Chairman, if we lived in Knoxville, there'd be sad news, because you'd be calling the junk be gone guy and the pickup truck you saw at the stoplight that hauls it off, and I mean, because whether you have a truck or not, in Knoxville, you're responsible for everything that doesn't fit in your can. And so we are blessed to even have a brush truck, and like Mr. Harville said, it is a brush truck, period. And I agree that we should go back with that, but thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
I'd like to reiterate, I can't disagree with Mr. Harville or Ms. Howe, but I think abruptly stopping bulk waste will create more of a problem. I think this is going to take time. I think we start with construction waste and see where we go. I'm not disagreeing with anyone here, and I know it's on our board, but we've been doing this, and to abruptly stop a service that we've been doing could have repercussions.
I agree. Anyone else? We vote the motion? We had a first.
I guess so. We can vote. Is there any more on that? Go ahead.
This is.
Is the August 1st date, I mean, does that give us any kind of time to notify?
Well, that's why I said it August the
60
1st.
days.
Gives us, well, it's May now, June, July. You got 2 months. Is that enough? You feel it needs to be more?
I mean, we need to, I would think that 2 months is enough. We could give them a year and we still wouldn't get 100% compliance.
Exactly right.
So the sooner we get this on the plate, just like the noise issue, the sooner we get it out there, we can start getting compliance with it. I have, in the process of building a house for my daughter, I've spent a lot of money with dumpster service. We do a lot of construction in other cities. I spend a lot of money in dumpster services in other cities. So it's something that, as a contractor, that we should expect that we have to get rid of the waste. And so I don't think it's something that's going to be foreign to them.
Well, you do have some that charge that and then take it to their house and set it at the end of the road.
Shame on them.
That's, yeah, shame on them.
Those will be the ones that are hard to comply.
Right.
Could I readdress, please?
Yes.
So, going along with this August 1st, I can go along with that if we could, I mean, I know we got to start somewhere. Do we give a verbal warning first? I mean, these guys that are picking it up will know who's abusing and who's multiple offense. I'm just saying the first time, we've got to coordinate some kind of letting them know. we no longer do this, whether it be through a permit process, that we let the folks know that we're no longer picking up construction waste as of August the 1st. However, when you pull up and there's somebody there, we need to identify that or try to find that person and let them know we're not doing this. Is that something we need to work through? Or do we just leave it? I'm not advocating picking it up, but I'm saying, how do we let them know before we take it to the next step?
Go ahead.
With the building department, building construction permit process, we could have document there for sure. And if they issue a permit, they get a piece of paper that says we don't pick up your waste.
Yeah, Thomas.
And maybe there's several services available in town, maybe you have their phone numbers on the bottom of that, you know, please call these people for
Removal.
removal.
And
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
As Mr. Long and I were in the planning commission, he brought that up. And planning commission was not very open to even handing out an extra piece of paper. They were very much against doing anything extra. So if that happens, I think that'll need to come from this body, that it will be a requirement for them to do as such. That way, there's no question about it. I'm not on this committee, so I can't make motions or such, but my thought would be for those is if we could do some type of printed pamphlet that had this information and some options for pickup and could be included with the permits when they go to get them. One thing that I still don't know how we're going to control as far as getting them the information like this, though, is a lot of people are doing a small remodel project inside a house or whatever. I would venture to say at least 50% of people don't even get a permit. So, you know, we're still going to have the issue, but as I said, you've got to start somewhere. Let the codes enforcement go by and say, hey, you've got this out here, it's not picked up anymore. You throwed it out there, pick it up. And it's on your property.
To add to that, my desire was to add a pamphlet to every building permit issued that gave you guidelines of what was acceptable, you know.
They do that with stormwater stuff. In your little construction packet, they'll give you handouts that have stormwater stuff and other things, so shouldn't be an issue.
That could be an addition.
Yeah, it's going to need to be said through this body, though, because it was not received well at all when just a request was made about doing it.
Mr. Chairman, how about, you know, I don't know about putting a sign out at Lowe's or Home Depot and, you know, just saying that, you know, be reminded that Hamblen County,
She showed her.
I don't know.
Big time.
Well, we just need to hit the airwaves and the,
Education.
I think also, we as a body can do that in our districts. When you see something in your district, said, hey, I don't know if you're aware of it, but as of August 1st or whatever,
okay.
you know, it won't be any picking up and, you know, fines to follow.
Sounds like a road trip, okay.
I mean, we all have our districts and we all see what goes on in where we live, so I've seen it and I know everybody else has too, so. So we'll vote on this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Item 4B is to discontinue county pickup of trash, brush, bulk waste, if not separated. And this is an issue because you have the brush, and when the people throw the trash in with the brush, and when they pick it up and it goes to landfill, they won't separate it. Can't separate, like could, but it'd take you forever. So all the brush that we could burn goes into the landfill and fills the landfill up. So again, you got the issue of when they come up and they don't pick it up and the trash truck goes by your house and they'll call and say, well, you know, obviously there's something wrong, it wasn't separated or anything. And again, this is just, you're gonna have to educate people. And then some don't care, they'll throw whatever in there. But it's the same thing with the bulk waste too. You can put your cabinet or whatever out there, and then they'll just dump their trash right on top of it, or
Yeah.
throw a tree across the top of it or something. So, again, it's, as you said, education.
I
to do
just saw
that.
it in my neighbor. They had their brush, and here were some boxes, and here was just exactly what you said, and it's gonna be me knocking on that door saying, hey. So, yeah.
And the drivers aren't gonna get out and separate it. I mean, they're not, so. So, do I hear a motion to,
Motion.
got a motion by Mr. Holmes, second?
I'll second that motion for
Got a
discussion.
motion and a second. Any discussion?
What day was you proposing to start 4B, out of curiosity?
I think probably the same time, just not to confuse everybody. If we could, I mean, that's a lot to absorb,
Right.
but it's all on the same page. It's all trash and bulk.
We may need to, Chairman, we may need to ask these guys, though, if it'll increase their route times until we can educate, but when they see this, to maybe address it on the spot. I don't know if we can, or hand them a sheet of paper.
But if you don't pick it up, it'll really enhance it.
Yeah.
May I
Yes.
ask a question? In the county, because I live in the city and I don't know, but in the county, are there trash cans, pickup trash cans in the county? We could have some type of sticker
That's what I'm thinking.
placed on that trash can. I mean, we can't pick up because, I mean, everybody sees a trash can, everybody puts a trash can up. Some type of just, the gentlemen that are picking up the garbage are out there anyways. They'll just place that sticker on the can.
Right.
And we can also use our radio stations, and we have a FM and AM station that public service announcements are always on.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Just a quick thought, the city codes enforcement, when people don't mow their yards correctly around the city, they'll come up and they'll put
Sign.
a little sign up, it's like a mini campaign sign, it's got a standard that it goes on in the ground. We could get those for the pickup guys, and if they come by a pile that's mixed, put one of those signs in front of it, note the address, inform Mr. McKinney, our codes enforcement officer, and it's, taken care of. Have the information on that sign that, we don't pick up because it's not separated.
Right.
And that would be one way of informing people. A piece of paper probably blow away or such, but you could just put that right there, and then as other people drive by and they see the pile, they understand that we've not just left it. It's because of an infraction that it's sitting there. So.
That'll help spread the word, too.
Yeah, let's spread the word. Just an idea.
Well,
Mr. Chairman, where do we get the funding to do this now? We're sitting here talking about, okay.
But
Want to
now-
make sure.
Mr. Chairman, what about if we, there may be 10 houses that do it exactly right. Here's their brush, here's their whatever. But then we don't need it in they could just, instead of, I would hate to think of that guy having to jump out of his truck and put that note, he could say, okay, at this address, then our officer, code guy could go by and say, oh yeah, I see that, and give them a call or put that note on their garbage can or on their mailbox or something. Versus the guys who are out there on all the weather hanging onto the garbage can the garbage truck, I don't know that they should be doing it. Whereas the driver could say, okay, this address, circle it, this address. The other 10 on the road are doing it just right. I don't know, just an idea.
Well, that's where I was saying an infraction. If they
Yeah.
see something wrong, they could put that sign up at that point.
I'd like to add, playing off everybody's discussion here, if we could, not only a sticker, but maybe a pamphlet or a sheet of paper in a plastic bag or something and attach it to that garbage can where, it draws their attention. They get to see this, not just a sticker. And I have a question for the sheriff, actually, and I was just wondering, or Captain, Chief, if work release could be used in any way to go around the county and putting stickers on cans. Is that? I'm just asking. I don't know, like some guys that go out, excuse me?
Community service.
Community service, yeah. Where we could utilize that to hit all the garbage cans that are on the roads or whatever. Some people keep them in their homes and maybe can't get to them, but.
Yeah, that would be a question for Don Baird. We don't handle community service, we do work release.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You have to
Just
do
an
that
idea.
on the day that it was for that pickup, because most of those garbage cans are either gonna be behind the house or something.
That's right.
So you'd have to do it on the schedule of that pickup day.
That's correct, that's correct.
That's good stuff.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
totally overthinking this, totally overcomplicating this. We have, I think, an intelligent community in Hamblen County. We give them public notice on the radio, newspaper, whatever. And then if they fail to do that, we leave a sign. That gets turned over to our codes, and he takes it from there. Or we don't even, the garbage guys don't even put the sign out. They just take the address, turn it over to the codes enforcer, and he handles it from there. There's laws changing this country and this county all the time. And it's your responsibility to stay up with it. If you've got bulk waste out there, brush out there, it doesn't get picked up, you're gonna, wow, why didn't they pick it up? They came through here. Well, they may call Berry Pool or whoever and fuss, and then they'll be told, well, do you have garbage in there? Or maybe the codes enforcement guy gets out there to put a sign, and they see that, and they're gonna be angry, and they're gonna be upset about it. Okay, I didn't know. Well, the old saying, ignorance of the law is not a defense. And we'll do our best to inform the public, because that's our responsibility. But these are adults we're dealing with, and it's their responsibility to stay up on what's going on. If we make a legitimate effort, put it in the paper, on the radio station, on the website,
Send a letter.
there's a ton of things that can be done. We're overthinking this. We're looking for too many holes in the floor. Then we're avoiding stepping through them. We need to, this is just something we need to put out there. We're not talking about writing citations or fining anybody. We're talking about, as Thomas said, put the little sign, have the codes enforcement guy put the little sign out with the message on it. And that really educates people, and it won't take long. But we can't overcomplicate this. I've sat here and listened, and I think we're just totally not giving our community enough credit. You're going to have some bad apples, but they're going to be there. I don't care if you walk up and tell them personally. So my opinion is, August 1st, this is the new rule. And we're going to inform you several different ways. Okay? And then from that point on, you're going to have a 90-day or a 120-day or whatever before citations are going to follow. We're just going to put a sign out there, and then from that point on, it's going to be a citation. And because people are going to drive 60 in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. They know it's illegal, but they're going to do it. There's going to be people that's going to do the same thing with the trash, with the bulk. So I think we're overthinking it. I think we need to make the rule. We need to vote on it. We need to enact it August 1st and go from there. That's the best education that we can give people is to put it out. It won't cost them anything at first, but they'll learn that, because we didn't get to this place overnight. It'll take us a few days to get it corrected, but we need to move on it. We kick this down the road. It's time we take action.
Anyone else? Vote the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
One opposed?
Call roll.
Ayes have it.
Call roll. Was it just one?
One.
Yeah, just Ms. Green. Item 4C, a further discussion about amendment to the illicit discharge plan, Resolution 23, with trash, brush, bulk waste being placed in ditch lines. And this is where everybody puts their trash, in the ditch lines that we just passed resolutions on stormwater. We don't know what's in there half the time. If it's trash and it's brush on top, that's the reason we separate it. But to me, it shouldn't be in the ditch line anyway, which is, as we've said, was county property over so far, you know, and if we don't pick it up and they don't move it, then, you know, at that point, then there's a fine for littering. You're littering on county property. So I just think it's, you know, Barry says he gets complaints when they pick it up in the ditch, that they dig the ditch out with those things. So, you know, you're gonna get complaints from both sides, but I'd like to see us not even put it in the ditch line, have nothing in the ditch lines, and we have our water. We don't have to worry about it. It'll help stormwater and us as well. If it's in the ditch line, we won't pick it up.
If I may, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
a little bit, I'll ask the county attorney this. The ditch lines are not county property, are they? They're the right of way.
It's our county right of way. The property owner owns the ditch. The ditch is on our county right of way.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry.
And other than that, you know, it's something that just hit me. It was brought up about the cost. How are we gonna fund informing everybody? Well, will not the reduced tipping fees, because we're not taking in mixed and having to put it all in the landfill, will cover a lot of these extra expenses we're talking about.
Right now, I mean, as we're talking, the tipping fee's the same. Okay, for brush.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, we're not gonna be picking this stuff up. All we're gonna pick up is brush. So you're not gonna have as much.
But
Only if it's
If
mixed.
your citizen, or say that property owner takes the couch,
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right, and it's under, and they haven't disposed of 2 tons, I think, for the year,
6,000 pounds.
or 3 tons.
3 tons.
Then the county is charged for that. So there won't be a large savings.
Okay.
Okay, if it gets there, which we want it to get there, it's just a matter of how it gets there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay for the disposal, more than likely.
That's good information. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
quick question. So you don't want to put it in the ditch line? Where I live, that's what we've always done. So where are you wanting us to put it at on the property to make it accessible?
You have your yard past the ditch, right?
Now, my yard is way above the ditch, honey. And Cameron Road is a deeded road. So the county right-of-way's not as big as it is on some of the rest of them.
But they have the hooks.
They do, but it's always within the ditch line. So if you don't want a ditch line, where do you want it? It's my question.
Well, where you at, wherever you can put it in the yard where it's accessible.
They can't get the grabbers up to my yard because it goes up like this. And if I put it on the other side, it blocks the mailbox where the mail carrier and the Tribune man can't get to it. So that's my question. Where do you want us to put it?
That we'd have to confer with Barry and see what their reach is with their claws.
And I'm sure if I've got that problem, somebody else will too at some point.
Mr. Chairman, if I'm remembering anything of the 80 pages of the stormwater, they don't care who owns the ditch. If it's blocked, the stormwater people are not happy.
Right.
So I think that has some teeth in it. When you say, not only are you, but by the way, Tennessee is not happy with you either. Okay, thank you.
So do I hear a motion that we continue with this, with not putting trash into the ditch line?
Motion.
Trash or brush. Have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Got a second?
And
Any
discuss.
discussion now? Again, I think we've covered pretty much of that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes carried. And we'll have other discussions about education and getting it out there moving forward.
So if this went in that you don't want anything put in, you're gonna have a date on it? Anything of that?
I'm sorry?
Is this just passed on for further discussion, or was there a motion made to adopt this so I can put it in for the calendar items?
Well, do we want to,
I didn't know what you, it was a little confusing there for me as to what was done, whether it was just passed for additional discussion, or if there was a,
I happen to agree. I think this may have not been a vote item. This may have been just a discussion of the resolution from the stormwater. But I need to go back and look at that.
I don't know. I didn't know whether to put it in or not.
Yeah. So, right here, any direct or indirect non-stormwater discharge into the storm sewer system, storm drains into the ditches that is not entirely of stormwater. I mean, that is illicit. So, I mean, it's actually covered in one of our resolutions to not place in the ditch line. It's in our stormwater resolution.
The stormwater policy.
Excuse me?
ask for affirmation?
Yeah, it's more of an affirmation, I guess, that we do this, that we agree as a body.
So we want to reword it?
Yeah, let's retract that motion. The motion was from Bobby, wasn't it? Mr. Hahn?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know that we need anything. It was just discussion. Is that clear? Is everybody good?
That's good.
And if we do, we'll address it the next time. I think we're covered on that.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Doty, Chairman Doty of the County Rules, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do I have anyone wishing to address this committee? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Old business, we have none. With the review of the regular calendar items, we have a couple of changes for clarification with regular calendar item number 5. Commissioner Green has already requested moving selected checks and expenses to item 5 from the financial. Then in item 7 with the resolutions for stormwater and such, per Chairman Richardson's discussion, the fine amounts will be changed to the $50 specified prior to votes. And there will be a addition of a public service committee section where we will draft a statement concerning the noise ordinance, or we approve the drafted statement concerning the noise ordinance.
Item E, 7E.
7E would be great. Also,
In item 10B, the verbiage will be changed to add effective August 1st, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve?
So much.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
And second by Mr. Hone. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We have the consent calendar items. Do I have a motion to approve?
Let's, hold on just a second. We need to back up for discussion on that motion. Yeah, we had,
I'm sorry.
I had a quick question. Now, on the item number 5, about the checks and whatnot, are they already signed and approved and sent out?
yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
Sorry. Thank you,
No,
sir.
that's fine. And just to add up on that, the consent calendar, you know, the checks are already done, but each commissioner has the ability to bring something off consent calendar and bring it to our body for discussion.
Correct.
So we do not put that to a vote?
No, they have the ability to bring
Well,
that.
if we've already wrote the checks, so what's our next step then? Are we gonna say,
Bring it back.
Well, it's done. Maybe they change moving forward if there's something found. But it's for, the consent calendar is for information purposes only. But it can always be removed from consent and brought and placed in this item number 5 for discussion. Understood?
Again, we'll bring up the consent calendar with the select checks Ms. Green had noted being moved to item 5 on the regular calendar from the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Horner, thank you, sir. Second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Holmes, thank you, sir. Discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Doty. Okay, folks, that concludes our business tonight. Let me remind you, at your desk, you already have the May schedule for our budget hearings. You also now have the June schedule for our budget hearings. Please take note of those dates. Yes, sir. Okay. One really important date, we will start our budget process May the 16th. That's our next meeting is May the 16th prior to our May the 18th commission meeting that week. Chairman Horner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to address an email that we all received this past few days, last week I guess it was, from Ms. Green. Did you get your questions answered?
No, he refused to answer my questions.
No, I'm talking about the ones concerning me.
No, he refused to answer my questions, that the attorney told him not to speak to me because of the lawsuit I had against him for double dipping, sir. But thank you for asking, sir.
Do you suggest I answer her allegations with me?
Mr. Holmes, that's entirely up to you. As far as I'm concerned, her request for information is a commission matter. It's not a county attorney matter at this point. It's an ethical question, and that's for the members of the commission to talk about or determine what is okay.
Just for your information, you brought up several things, and it's been ongoing for a year now, and it's kind of disconcerting. Thought we had this clarified, thought we had it taken care of, but you were asking about letterhead.
Yes, sir.
Didn't use letterhead, county letterhead. I don't know where that got started or who told you that I did use county letterhead. You've got a copy of the thing there. You know it wasn't letterhead. I don't know why you're keep pursuing that, but it wasn't letterhead. This was what it was. It had a button that said "Your vote counts," and then it had a copy of the Hamblen County Courthouse. cut and
Missy?
pasted.
Missy? Is that not part of the county letterhead, or am I seeing double up here? Is
That's
that
not copywritten, it doesn't matter, I mean, it's, that's not county letterhead.
What is it then?
What?
What is it then, sir?
It is a campaign flyer I put together to encourage people to vote and to address some issues
And you do know
for
it's,
Hamblen County. This was not letterhead.
well, it's misleading, because it sure looks like the county letterhead, dear.
Have you got a copy of the letterhead and lay beside this? There's not even a smidgen of the same thing. The only thing it resembles it is that little thing right there.
That's
There's no
all.
addresses, there's no names, there's no phone numbers, nothing else that any person would take as being letterhead. Okay?
Well,
This
that's
is not county letterhead. You've been told that time and time again, and you keep wanting to bring it up to embarrass me. Fine, I'm not easily embarrassed. We put that to rest. That answers the rest of the questions. Okay? I have county letterhead. All right? I did get it from the mayor's office. Sometime back when I had to write a letter as a county commissioner. That's completely legal. We're employees of the county. There's nothing untoward being done here, nothing underhanded. All right? So all that being said, who gave it to me? Nobody. It wasn't provided, it wasn't underhanded, it wasn't crooked. It's not county letterhead, no way, no shape, no how. The other thing is about putting these, I don't know where you got in the mailbox. I ran out of energy with the last few. I'd been putting them in a paper box, which is completely permissible, or I was taking them to their door if they didn't have a paper box. Near the end of my route in my district, I taped about, I don't know, let's 5 or 10, let's say 50 to a mailbox. And this is supposed to be some kind of major to-do. I've talked to 2 postmasters, as did some of my fellow commissioners, and we were assured that there was no issue, no problem. I even offered to pay the postage on them if that would be a problem. They said, absolutely not, no problem, don't worry about it, it happens. Now, do you have another question for me?
I certainly do. They told me you couldn't do that when I asked that question.
Well,
And I asked it at the top postmaster at Talbot. So evidently, we need to get the straight answer of the situation,
I've got the straight
sir.
answer. I've got the straight answer.
If I may interject here, the United States Post Office has not come after Mr. Hahn in that regard. Therefore, I see it's not a commission matter. If there is one, so be it. But I'll just interject that on that part, because the information we got, if they're not pursuing such, why are we?
Well, they've probably not been notified, to be
Yes,
brutally
ma'am.
honest
Oh,
with
they've
you,
been
sir.
notified.
Yeah, they've been
notified. This is a personal attack, plain and simple.
Honey, I'm not attacking you personally. I just believe in
And
things
I'm
being what
appalled
they
by
ought
it.
to be.
It takes away time and energy from this body for you to do this. It's ridiculous. It's been asked, it's been answered several times. We're trying to put this issue to rest. And I've got at least 3 commissioners right now that I've had to keep from bringing up some matters that I think would be embarrassing to you.
Well, if you've got something on me, go ahead and bring it up. I can face anything I've done, sir.
I don't think
I've
so.
done a lot of things I'm not proud of, but I can face them.
This is something you don't want,
Well, whatever you want to do to
you
me,
talk about ethics.
go ahead and do it.
So
But
that's
I
put
am
to bed.
for
Now,
the-
are you satisfied with that
No,
answer?
sir, I'm not. No, sir, I'm not.
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Dogan.
What I see on Mr. Holmes' mail out is nothing but a GIF image, which is a graphics interchange format. It is a clip or clip art, as it's short for, put on the side. Anybody that has seen county letterhead, Ms. Green, you have, many times over, knows that it's in the center of the page. This is not. This is even blocked out to where you can see a different color. Anyone at all would know that this is not county letterhead.
And as Mr. Hone, I am appalled because you continually drag things through the mud after they've been addressed. They're over.
We'll agree to disagree, Mr. Lody.
I guess we will
Okay.
agree to disagree.
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm done with it.
We will.
I'm
We'll
done
agree to
with it.
disagree, sir.
And if you want to bring things up and you say you want to stand for it, I'll just tell you. My problem was when I brought up the fact that you stood outside on that walkway and told me, sir, sit down, please, that you would not say I was wrong, that you were picking a fight wearing that string. I brought it up in the meeting, you called me a liar. And you did say it right
I
down there.
did not say what you
I
said.
think we've
I
had
said
enough.
you are
I think-
entitled to your opinion, and I
That's
will
what you
not.
said out there.
Does anybody have
And as far
anything else
as us-
constructive?
You accused me of setting a trap, sir,
Okay,
and I did
that's
not.
enough. We'll call it there. Mr. Hahn,
I did not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
see you back to you.
sorry. So, folks, we have a meeting on May the 16th that we need to, hey, Mr. Cox, hold on just a second, please. No, not yet. We will meet on May the 16th, our first budget meeting, folks. Let's get this done, and leave your books, please. Thank y'all.
I said we won't talk outside of here again because of that fact.
That'd be fine, sir.